Did you learn anything from your psychological studies that allowed you to not manipulate audiences, but tap into the psyche and the heart and the emotions of audiences? Or did you learn that from just like family dynamics?
I think probably it was more, just psychology was just like a really fun thing to study. I knew I wasn't going to use my degree for anything.
Right.
So I was like, let me enjoy what I'm learning about, maybe get some cool information I could use in conversation. It was great, like talking to people about like psychological principles is like always awesome. And, you know, and then like seeing them reflected in yourself is really cool. So I just kind of enjoyed it. I'm sure some of that has trickled into the comedy.
Yeah.
It has to have. But in terms of like going, I'm going to turn psychology into comedy, I don't think that was ever a perspective.
When did you have the idea that you wanted to do comedy as a full-time profession? Not just like, I think I want to try this on the side and see how it goes.
I think when I moved back to New York, I started managing a restaurant back in New York, and I was like, this is not for me. And I started doing comedy again, and I think something just clicked back in New York where I was like, I think I'm going to do this.
At like 22, 23?
I think I was like 23.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, maybe it's 23 or something like that. I was like, I think I'm going to do this. And then I just get obsessed. I almost missed that obsession. I had like an insane dude.
Tell me more.
Just read every book. I would transcribe every set. Like I'm sure somewhere there's notebooks of literally like handwritten every word that Chris Rock would say in a whole special. Dave Chappelle was saying a whole special.
You would record it all down and
I'd
look
write
at it.
So I could see how the jokes were broken down.
Structure, the framework, the setup, everything.
Yeah.
The plot twist,
everything.
all of it.
Yeah. Oh, this is a story. Oh, this is something that isn't real. Oh, this is misdirection that doesn't make sense. This is misdirection that still operates in reality. Ooh, wow. Misdirection that operates in reality is actually more fun because it's something that actually could happen. Ooh, I kind of like that. Oh, this isn't misdirection. This is more like using words that are kind of like fun and creating good imagery, like just really breaking down what these different jokes are.
The science of the set.
Yeah. I need to learn the language, kind of like Spanish. Like I need to learn the math of it first, and then I could break that.
How long were you obsessed for doing that type of, research?
Like I would rewrite my set every single night.
Is this for years? Is this for 6 months? Is this for
years? Just like so competitive.
Wow.
So obsessed. I know this sounds like weird, and I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jordan or anything, but like watching The Last Dance and seeing like the like psychosis he almost had, like in terms of how he treated people that he had beef with. Like I used to carry a card in my wallet of the people who were mean to me.
Come on.
Swear to God. Like of all the people in comedy that were mean to me, I had their names on a card.
What would you do with that information?
The beautiful thing about like...
Was this the chip on your shoulder that you would wear it?
Yeah.
See, but what would you look at?
Even to today, I have beefs that aren't real, but in my head they're real. Like everything in that doc about just like what motivated him and what he needed to do to like turn it on. Like his ability, for me, what I understood about the documentary was like, he has the ability to turn on the switch. We talk about this, me and my boys. Like some people can't turn on the switch, right? And like he could turn it on and he would do it every game.
It's crazy, man.
Some people can turn it on for the playoffs, but he could do it every single game if he wanted to.
And that's it's like Tom Brady too.
Tom can do it every game. I would say that is like a competitive advantage I have. Like if it needs to get turned on, it can get turned on. Like when we did that Netflix special, we were working maybe like 120 hours a week or something. It was insane. I've never worked that hard in my life. It killed me. I won't work that hard again unless I get paid $100 million.
Right.
Like it was. Now I should have outsourced more. Like I had guys. Shouts to Mark Gagnon who co-created with me. Robbie Slovic, who's a great comic, and Efe Ilgai, who we brought on as well. But like, what we should have done is had a robust writing team, like all these shows have.
Team, yeah.
Exactly. For me, I lost all the anger. Like I have no resentment to anybody who's a dick to me at all. If anything, you just feel a little bad because they're still in that same position.
Interesting.
And they needed to be a dick to someone who was like young and excited about comedy.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do you have any anger towards anyone now or beef with anyone?
I'm sure.
You're sure?
Yeah.
But you don't have a list anywhere. You just have it in the back of your head. Yeah. A mental list.
Up to you. It's always up here. It's always. That's good motivation for me. Yeah.
But I feel like the comedy world, kind of like I feel like in my industry of people creating, content that is trying to further people along, like personal growth content.
Yeah.
At least from my standpoint, I feel like I'm in collaboration with everyone. Like I'm gonna have everyone on my show. I'm gonna promote them. I'm in abundance. You got a book, let's promote it. You got this, like cool. I don't care.
Yeah.
it seems like there's a similar collaboration mindset
Absolutely.
with comedians where you're all in the back room just kind of talking, sharing ideas. We're
very competitive.
You are
We're very competitive.
Really?
But I think the first time you really saw this happen was on the West Coast when podcasts came out.
Yeah.
And the West Coast comedians have always been more industrious because they have to. New York comedians can make a living doing stand-up at clubs.
They can.
They can. And that's
What's
a rare
What's a
thing.
living? 100 grand, 70 grand, 300 grand,
50 grand,
50
maybe,
grand.
something like that.
This is like 3-4 nights a week.
No, this is 7 nights a week they're working, doing spots. Yeah. Now they're doing 15-minute spots around the city.
Okay.
They're collecting $100 here, $100 there, $100 there. They put together, they can make a living. But for a lot of comics, even if they don't realize it, they just want to make a living. And what I always recognized was like, you'll never go further than what you dream. So like if your dream is just to make a living, you can't be the biggest act in the world. The goal is how I work the GPS.
Yeah.
Like I have to say the thing and then my brain just starts getting me there.
What's the thing right now?
I want to find a way where comics can make just as much money by self-releasing their specials as they can doing it for networks. Because the self-release allows them to build up an audience that can be nurtured and turn into basically what I have. When you talk about being collaborative, like I've always looked at my contribution in terms of like stand-up is, and just comedy in general, is like, I'm going to find out where the voids are in the game and where we can kind of curate our own lives and like be in control of our own careers. And then I'm going to execute those. And then I'm going to give it to all of you.
Teach everyone how to do it.
This is for you. Like I tell everybody, like sometimes young comics come and, oh, you're doing these things and we don't want to be the thing. And I'm like, it's for you. Anything I do is for everybody.
Yeah.
I think you get comfortable. You know, like you just get comfortable in your space. You have a deal with Comedy Central and like you think it's great to be on TV. When I grew up, I did Comedy Central. This is like when I was coming up in stand-up, I thought I should have a sitcom. Why? Because that's what stand-ups did in the 80s. And I was like, do I enjoy acting? No.
Right.
So I don't want a sitcom. But I had it. I did it. You know, I did all the things that I wanted to do, but I realized this wasn't that much fun for me. So I had to focus on the things that were fun, and then those things would be the most fruitful. And basically what I've just been trying to do is go, hey, this is where the career is going, and this is where things are going, and you guys should do literally everything that I do, and then do it better than me, and then force me to think,
So what would be the 5-step approach for someone coming in right now? Like if you could only do 5 things to help further your career, is it 1, first master your craft of comedy?
Yeah, don't even worry about anything else besides getting funny.
Once you figure that out, let's say, and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go out there in a bigger way. Is it get on, put your stuff on put your stuff on YouTube,
Instagram, TikTok, like create a presence for yourself and like use that algorithmic push.
Okay, so once you do that,
Yeah.
what would be the next 3 things to really accelerate their career?
Literally,
You've gotten funny. You're on social media, putting your stuff out there.
if you're genuinely funny, like what I would say is undeniable.
Yes.
And they're different levels of funny. Like some people are funny in like some weird bar in Brooklyn,
Right.
but are they funny at the New York Comedy Club? Are they funny at Comedy Cellar, right? Like if you're undeniably funny, and we all know who those people are. Like if you're not even, like that's the thing, we all talk about like who our favorite comics are and blah, blah, blah. If you're not killing, you're not in the discussion.
Gotcha.
So we know who kills, and we know who's like, oh, that's really clever, that's really funny.
That one joke was funny, yeah.
Killing or not. If you're killing and you have social media, there's nothing else you need to worry about. Everything else will come to you. That's it.
That's it. Just focus on that.
We did all the hard work for you. It's all been done.
Yes.
Like literally, if you're killing and you have social
Because then
media.
what can you do? How can you monetize from there? And how much could you monetize?
Social media, what happens is like, I mean, you could do, obviously podcasts is great if you're good at podcasting, but like a lot of people do podcasts now.
A lot of them. I mean, how many comedians have a podcast
Every
now?
comedian has a podcast.
A million?
Yes. I mean, it will be a new form of social media. I love this because like, I think the more people that enter the genre, the more people listen and watch, and then those people see who the real
Right. You rise to the top. Like my School of Greatness will be 9 years next week.
Yeah.
I don't know, when did you launch your show, your podcast?
Well, I've been doing Brilliant Idiots with Charlemagne the God.
Yeah, he's great. I've had him on.
He's the man, dude.
He's awesome.
He is truly great. He is truly a great.
Yes.
And I don't know. Like, but we were early in podcasting.
Early. So
Yeah.
around me, 9 years ago, you think?
I
Or
would
like-
say around, I think, yeah.
2013 January is when I was. Anyways,
Yeah.
I would say it was the second wave. Rogan was obviously the first big,
Yeah.
wave, and like the tech podcasts.
Mark Maron, too.
Mark Maron, but then it was like tech podcasts, and that was pretty much it. You know?
Yeah.
It was a few.
Yeah.
I kind of came like second wave, maybe 2.5,
Yeah.
and then Serial came, and which brought the wave
Yeah.
of
That's
everything
crazy.
else, of true crime and all that.
Adnan Syed.
And exactly.
Right?
And then a lot of the comedian podcasts and business podcasts and interview shows and political stuff came in probably 5, 6, 7 years ago as well. And I remember thinking, oh gosh, is this going to get too saturated?
Yeah.
But really what it did is it just brought in more audiences to find the best stuff. And so if you're willing to be consistent and kept
Yeah.
improving, then you'll be fine.
I learned that from my mom, and maybe that's why I'm so generous with like the guys and I like make it on the internet. But like, my mom would have this dance studio, and she would have all these teachers. Literally every dance school in New York is started by someone who used to work for my mom and dad.
Right.
And then they started their own school, and I was like, doesn't that bother you that like they're taking the students, whatever? And they're like, no, it's great. And I was like, why? And she's like, well, one, competition is great for business, and two, more people can go do it, and that's the natural course of things. Like, they had no resentment. Like, there's certain people who, I'm going to sign you to a non-compete, and you can't do this, and you train people at my gym, and if you leave my gym, I'm going to sue you, and you're going to have to pay me $50,000 to go train people. Like, this stuff really happens.
Yeah.
And my parents were just like, no, just go do your thing and have fun, and they'd still like hang out with them.
Wow.
And I think there's
Would you
something
do that
about
if
that.
you had like this young, like, comedic
Yeah.
mentee, and then you brought them up, and then they went and did their own thing?
I want, look, in the ideal scenario, I want them to be able to do everything that they want and help them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, like, the way I look at these things is like, how can we all do and accomplish our greatest dreams,
Yeah.
right? And then what I want to do is create like the Avengers crew and eventually go, yo, once every 3 years, like, we're going to put out another special like we did. Or once every 2 years, we're going to make a movie together. Or once every, and then in between, they're doing their cool projects. They're putting out their specials. They're mentoring other people. But like, the people that I curate, like, I have a tight-knit group, and these are my guys. And I plan on working with them until I'm done working.
These guys go on tour with you, right? Are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, so they go on tour with me, and Akash has his own tour right now.
Yeah.
But Mark is opening up for me, and Mark eventually will have his own tour. But like, when we do arenas, I want Mark there, and I want Akash there. You know what I mean? And Derek is opening for us as well, and like, I want him there. Like, these are the guys that I want to build with.
Yeah.
But I also want them to achieve all their dreams as well.
If they became, 5, 10 times bigger than you, how would that make you
Great,
feel?
awesome. Yeah, this is the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now there's going to be a part of me that's going to go, hey, I want to get bigger too. How do I do it? Depending on where I am in career. Like, if I see somebody doing something really good and I want to also do it, of course, just as I'm sure like them seeing me inspires them to do it. But like, yeah, this is the game, man. As my career has, begun to grow and flourish, if you will, I have a much different relationship with the audience. So like, now when they come,
They know.
they know, and I just want to give them the best show ever.
Right.
Like, I just want them, I'm just so grateful for them. But earlier in my career, when I didn't know them and they were like hesitant to laugh about touchy topics,